Alright, welcome back to the channel, folks. I am Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon and The Blackest Heart, both published by Simon & Schuster Saga Press. Today, I'm going to be reviewing Fatal Thaw, book number 2 in Dana Stabenow's Kate Shugak mystery series that's set in Alaska. So I got the Alaska shirt. If you've been following my channel for any length of time, you know that I grew up in Alaska, in Fairbanks. So things regarding Alaska, I hold a great fondness for them, especially this murder mystery series by Dana Stabenow. We always talk about the covers first, so let's get it out of the way. Let's talk about these covers. I actually like the covers for this series, and I'll show you why in a second. First of all, and I think all series should do this, the publisher, this is book number 2. You see there's a 2 there. You know, we pull out book number 3. There's a 3. We pull out book number 4. There's a 4. My God, it's even on the front. That way you know what book, you know where you're at in the series, man. I like that. And another thing is the covers are dope. You know, they're very simple, but they all go together and they all have a theme to them. They all have a nice Alaskan scene. You know, let's go through some of these. You know, I like these covers, man. I especially love that Totem pole cover. You know, these books are great. Got the whole collection. There's 22 books in the Kate Shugak mystery series by Dana Stabenow. Got a bunch of them there. I got the rest of them up here. Got the rest of them right there on the shelf. 22 total. And, you know, I reviewed book number 1 on my channel last year. Now we're to book number 2, A Fatal Thaw. What's it about? Kate Shugak is the main investigator in the series. She's a police officer slash sort of retired police officer slash sort of investigator who lives alone in the Alaskan wilderness and just gets pulled into these crazy Alaskan murder mysteries. And in this one, it starts out with someone with a .30-06 rifle. That's what my dad hunted moose with in Alaska. When we lived in Fairbanks, I went moose hunting with my dad a lot as a kid. I was never old enough to hunt, but my dad hunted and I tagged along. .30-06, it's the Alaskan rifle. Everybody up there moose hunts with .30-06. It just is. That's the thing I like about Dana Stabenow and her books is she gets all, she lives in Alaska. So she gets all of the little fine little details of Alaska right. You know, like they're not snowmobiles, they're snow machines. People hunt with .30-06s. That's what they hunt moose with. And if they're going to sniper people, which this book opens up with, someone takes out the .30-06 with their scope and they start snipering people. They sniper 8 people. So it's like a mass shooting incident up in the Alaskan wilderness, and then our main character Kate Shugak, the ex-cop sort of investigator, gets pulled into the investigation, and they find a 9th body that has been also killed, but not by a .30-06 or the same rifle. So now it's like, okay, we've got all these dead bodies. We kind of think we know who maybe did it but then we've got this other body that ain't been killed by the same gun. So then Kate's got a great murder mystery that we got to follow. And Dana Stabenow does a great job of just capturing the tone and flavor of Alaska. I mean, that's why I love these books, is because she really puts in the detail to get the flora and the fauna and the landscape correct. The animals that are in these books belong in the Alaskan wilderness. The plants and everything Everything she mentions, from the trees to the plants, it all belongs in Alaska. She lives there, she knows it, she knows the landscape. And I haven't lived there since I was a kid. So whenever I read these Alaskan terms like Athabaskan and the different names of the Native Alaskan tribes and all these things, it really takes me back to that magical place of my youth, which was Alaska. And if anybody's lived in Alaska, I don't care whether you lived in Fairbanks, where I grew up, or in Point Barrow, or clear down in Valdez, or Sitka, or Juneau, or Anchorage, I don't care where it is you lived in Alaska. Alaska, there is magic in Alaska. It is the biggest, most beautiful, most wild place you've ever been, and it just captures you. Once you go, it's always part of you. It's always a part of you. It's always going to be a part of me. And I love that this Dana Stabenow has taken the time to write 22 novels in this murder mystery series about Alaska. And I dig it. And these murder mysteries, I love Kate Shugak, our main investigator. You know, we get in book 1, we get to meet some of her love interests and things are going on. She's got this dog named Mutt, who's a great dog. We always have to have a great dog character. And she's just a tough little investigator. She is also Native Alaskan, and she is 5'1". She's just a short little fiery woman who goes out and investigates things. And this book has got a lot of magic and mystery in it. There's like that when you live in Alaska, and you almost feel like you're living in a supernatural landscape. And she really, really connects the reader to that with the northern lights. And then at the end, there's this scenes with avalanches and glaciers. And if you've ever been near the glaciers, you know that there's just something ethereal about them, and especially when they're moving and cracking and making sounds. And she gets all of that. And if you've read my book, The Forgetting Moon, the prologue of The Forgetting Moon takes place on a glacier. And then about halfway through Blackest Heart, we visit more glaciers. So I've got a lot of Alaska lore in my own epic fantasy series that I took. And this is the first writer that I've seen that's placed a scene atop a glacier, much like I placed scenes atop glaciers in my books. And it doesn't happen till the very end, though. No spoileries. Just know, the only spoiler I'm giving you is the end takes place maybe in or around or near or under or atop a glacier. And there might be an avalanche and an earthquake involved. But we won't get into that. Anyway, that's the murder mystery that's set up. I love this series. We're going to be reading and reviewing all 22 books over the next span of whenever, because I got 3,500 books in my library, folks, that we are going to be reviewing. Can't do them all at once, but we're going to slowly work our way through these Dana Stabenow Alaskan mysteries because they're dynamite. I liked this one better than book 1. Book 1, which was A Cold Day for Murder, and you can catch my review of that on the channel somewhere. Book 2, I liked a lot better. I give it 8.5 out of 10. And then we will soon be reading and reviewing book 3, which is Dead in the Water, and then we'll get to book 4, and then we'll get to all the rest of the 22. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that review, and I hope you guys go check out Dana Stabenow, because great murder mysteries set in a very unique landscape of Alaska. And you will learn so much about Alaska and Alaskan history and just things that are going on in Alaska if you follow this series, I promise you.